Alright, for this week, ain't really got much in the way of intros. It is a standard patch week, so we're going to jump into the patches, see what's been changed with today's update. But before I do that, if you enjoy the video, please hit that like button. If you are not subscribed yet and you'd like to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Let's take a look at the patch notes, see what's been added with today's large patch week. Starting off with 110 woodcutting and fletching. Mark 2 through 4 eternal ranged equipment can now be disassembled in similar ratios to primal melee upgradable equipment. A message is now displayed when an enchanted nest has dropped. Hatchets now display cutting power, their woodcutting success chance in their tooltips. All 3 ingredients can once again be reclaimed from Ramarno to create additional hatchets of Bloom and Blight. Corrected an issue where, if influenced by a party's smithing or fletching levels, the tier of mining and woodcutting resource nodes in Dungeoneering could default to tier 1 instead of 9 or 10. The description of Masterwork bow shavings and Hetty now mention Eternal Magic Tree Sap to aid in discovering this step from the Masterwork bow creation process. And there was a hotfix where fletching unstrung bows once more count towards the fletching bows daily challenge. Looking at changes to Beneath Skabaro Sands. Leela now correctly says, "I'll meet you there, player," line when speaking to Osmond for a reminder after initial dialogue. Updated the text in the Priest Notes lore book. Made small tweaks to the dialogue of the Beneath Scarab Sand quest to remove lore inaccuracies. Fixed an issue that listed the quest incorrectly in the combat quest filter. Fixed the quest journal mentioning an incorrect location for Scabaros. The purple text is now easier to read against the background when used by mobile UI/full screen dialogue boxes during the quest. Fixed typos relating to the Melancholy Scarab and the Mine sequence. The item Scorched Sand no longer appears in the Grand Exchange. Moving on to some Iron Man changes. Iron Man players who have previously said they would never like to downgrade their accounts are now able to do so if they are using a Jagex account. After asking to downgrade, they will need to wait 7 days before this process takes place. As a replacement for never disable any of the Iron Man game modes, they've added an optional 90-day disable cooldown option. Setting the cooldown to 90 days is not reversible, and once it's set, will be impossible to set it back to the 7-day cooldown. Level milestone broadcasts have been added to Group Iron Man. Group Iron Man broadcasts for personal best boss kill times will now display the improvement from the previous record. Added a new broadcast to the Group Iron Man mode that will display when a member of a group dies. Good luck trying to explain those embarrassing deaths to the rest of your group. Collection log progress will now be broadcast to Group Iron Man groups, and updated names of the world first plaque in the Iron Man Enclave. Moving on to some general changes. Remove the cap on receiving clue scrolls from the clue capacity upgrade unlock at the Treasure Trails reward shop. Happy hunting. Fixed an issue where interacting with the action bar while stunned would block actions that would otherwise be usable. Protean and unstable Protean logs will now stop and adhere to the Protean action limit of 60 or 120 under certain conditions. The health boost of tending to a bonfire will now apply to other fire making methods that originally applied to only permanent bonfires. Fixed an issue where freezing blood debuff was only stacking to 10 the first time and then disappearing randomly. The debuff now stacks appropriately each time. Added an option to mute the vomiting sound effects during the Imp Catcher quest. Corrected an incorrectly textured tile north of Draenor Manor. The invention tutorial now has additional checks preventing players from attempting to complete it while their invention XP is blocked. Fixed an issue where the greater runic staff could not be changed with the Exsanguinate spell and would instead be charged with the Incite Fear spell. Fixed an issue that caused unintended logouts when creating primal fruit pulps while having ingredients in a Beast of Burden. While this issue has been fixed, it has caused the UX to show the Make X option has more pulp available. Regular trees can now be cut for more than one log before they are felled. Music tracks for Violet is Blue will be unlocked on next login for all players who have completed the quest. Resolved the rare issue where a specific player was unable to progress the Imp Catcher quest. Fixed an issue that blocked players from progressing the quest to Golem after starting the Heart Stealer quest. Players will now get to choose which item they want to pickpocket from curator Haig Halen. Fixed an issue where specific scenarios in the Art Glacier basic and special attacks could be interrupted by another attack too soon, causing the initial animation to be overridden early. The subsequent attack will now wait until the previous attack has finished firing. Fixed an issue that prevented double yield from bushes while the Whoopertinger is summoned. The Dungeoneering party invite window will now show floors and players' highest skill, including those past level 99. Players can toggle off invites to the Capoeira dance so they are not interrupted whilst crafting. Added an option to toggle drag items on and off in Legacy Interface mode. Fixed an issue with the Herb Derby Werby D&D, where firemaking XP gained between firemaking levels 99 to 110 was unintentionally lower than expected. Implemented some changes and fixes to the Lexicon Runewright boss. Added a deflect melee head icon to the Lexicon Runewright to more clearly show the deflecting damage mechanic. Fixed an issue that resulted in the player doing 0 damage to the boss if using melee. This has now been fixed, so you'll do 75% of the damage and take 25 as intended. Updated penguin location hints in northern Kandarin and the Fremnik province. Removed a thin strip of near where they see hint from the north of the province. Added the near where they see hint to Sears village. Added the on a small crescent island hint to Waterbirth. Added a hint to the area between Camelot and the Fremnik province that previously gave a beyond detection hint. Players will no longer be prevented from completing the Druidic Ritual quest if they previously completed the old version. Druidic Ritual is no longer a requirement to start a Void Dance quest. The Three's a Kiln achievement now specifies which combat styles are required to complete it. If a summoning familiar from a binding contract is overridden by a recolorable pet, its colors will now be correct. Fixed an issue where the friends chat list was not updating and clearing players' nicknames when players leave the chat. Remove skill icon requirements from Telos in the Beast of Burden interface tab. Igniting the sharp shell shards can now reward the player with Bernie, the firemaking pet. Fixed an issue where defeating a giant mole in a group rewarded some players the incorrect combat XP. Fixed an issue that allowed players Slayer task streak to remain if they chose to reset the Berthorpe path system. The confirmation display has been updated to reflect this change. Higher level planks can now be used to build grapevine frames and farm paddocks. The power burst of Masterstroke now multiplies smithing progress by 10 instead of 11. Fixed an issue where players would be unable to teleport into Infernus if they happen to die and be saved by the immortality ability as they were about to teleport in. Bank tab icons now have the correct names. The crystal sequence now correctly highlights all 6 necessary crystals during Three's company. Added the skybox/filters option to the map icon in the Flash Powder Factory. Players can no longer obtain more effigies from the Gate of Elidness if they have more than 5 in total. Fixed an issue where players with too many POF animals stored in their banks couldn't use their bank on a free-to-play world and would be kicked out of the game. And fixed an issue that was causing old accounts to be unable to log in after going through character creation. Lastly, we got some graphical changes. Fixed positioning of pickaxes when sheathed. Fixed an issue where, in specific scenarios, the Arc Blade Sword's basic attack animations may not be visible. Both sides of the rainbow and Phoenix auras are now equally vibrant. Fixed an issue that was causing the Pestilence Torva outfit preview in the Treasure Hunter interface from displaying correctly in minimal detail. Robe of the First Necromancer's shoulder pads are no longer misaligned on female characters. The spikes and wild spike hairstyles are now distinctly different, match the hairstyles presented in the head chat. Fixed missing side on overhead tombstone skill override. Updated the ruler of the Ancient Dead teleport animation to resolve the positioning of the orbs. The Soul Witch robe bottom no longer clips with long capes. Head chats for monks in the Priest Apparel quest have been corrected so they now show up correctly during dialogues. Removed old wall models from the ruins in the wilderness west of the Bannock camp. The waterfalls on Ape Atoll should now be more consistent. Removed a transparent shape that was occluding Stratus Cloud. Fixed a fence next to the Cook's Guild. Fixed a couple of graphical issues with Crypt Bloom armor. Corrected Skippy's head animation. Thalmon's beard no longer stretches or distorts. Fixed an issue which caused stretching when the effect of the necklace of Salamancy is active. Birds located in the Nature Altar entrance in Karamja are now displayed correctly. Fixed 120 skill capes clipping. Closed gaps in the ground inside the barrow's tunnels. Removed the duplicate floating trees at Mosley Harmland. Made some tweaks to how magic, range, and melee select projectiles and impact animations. Stalling blood tendrils will no longer immediately play the animation. Greater Barge Assault will no longer mistakenly play the assault animation. Berserk ability overrides now use the correct animation for the equipped weapon. Corruption shot, impact, and damage over time animations now line up more accurately. Fixed an issue that caused extra projectiles to briefly show when using Chinchompas in combat. Adjusted how ricochet impact animations display on AoE targets. Adjusted the hit timing of Deadshot and Omnipower so the impact animations cannot start before the projectile arrives. And finally, adjusted the animation used for Deadshot while wielding a blowpipe. And that is it for your patch week. Links to everything discussed in this video will be down in the description below. Head on over to check them out. If you missed last week's video, it'll be on screen now, so looking forward to seeing you there. And if not, I will see you at the next RuneScape news video. Until then, I'm out. Aloha.